Today on the Scarlet Standard, we're talking to the future of UNLV football, one of the top quarterbacks in California, a former dual sport athlete, and the first quarterback commit in Dan Mullen's 2026 class. This guy can sling it, he can lead it, he can rep it from Ventura to Vegas. Welcome to the show, Derek.
Thank you. Yeah, it's exciting.
Let's get into it. Let's start with the big moment. Your flip to UNLV made waves. It was kind of an unexpected. You were initially committed to San Diego State, then you flipped to UNLV. What made you change the course and why now?
Yeah, so at the time I thought San Diego State was the right fit for me. UNLV hadn't jumped in the mix at that time. And once they did, I kind of stayed in contact with them, Coach Mullen and Coach Dennis and Coach Cotton, you know, talking to them and they're hearing about their past. I mean, Coach Mullen, he's had multiple Heisman finalist quarterbacks. Coach Dennis, he's had multiple NFL quarterbacks, multiple young guys that are in the NFL right now playing, starting. They have that experience to win. They have the experience to how to produce guys. They have all that. And also the resources I always talk about at UNLV are just unmatched. I mean, they help you out in everything you do there, and their facilities are top tier. Just everything about them is top tier. So it was a really easy decision after the first time I was able to go out there.
Are you gonna in the fall, once obviously the season starts, are you gonna come out
Yeah,
probably as a guest and go to a game at Allegiant to experience it?
definitely. I'll be out there for a couple. But we actually just booked hotel rooms yesterday to go to the UCLA game. So it's gonna be the first one I
That
get out
game is definitely gonna be crazy.
for
I
sure.
think you may see the attendance record broken for that game.
Def-
So last year, this giving a little context on that. Last year, obviously UNLV had their rise to 11 wins. They were when they played Boise State here. Obviously, it was the hype. UNLV was ranked. Boise was ranked. It was Ashton Genty in the middle of his Heisman run. UNLV got 43,000 fans for that game, which broke the stadium record for UNLV,
Yep.
and it broke their overall attendance record for a game. The Sam Boyd only was, I think, if I remember right, that was the old stadium before they moved to Allegiant. That was capped at like 38, and the most they ever got there was like 36. So they broke that.
Hey,
I think that for the UCLA game, especially because it's Nico and Mullen,
yep.
I could see 50.
There's quite a few big names in that game right there. So
You know, uh, what do you call it? The Raiders only average 55. That for Raider games, it only holds 55. So they're getting close. And I know for as being a season ticket holder, I talked to my rep a couple of times last year, and they before when UNLV was before like when Barry started to get it going, they didn't close the for if you ever seen like there's that bridge that goes over to Mandalay Bay. They closed that bridge for Raider games. They never closed that bridge for UNLV games, and they did it for the first time, for a couple games last year. So I have a feeling it's going to be doing that for all the time now.
for sure. Yeah.
What was it about Dan Mullen and his staff that made you trust them with their future?
Um, the things with Coach Mullen, obviously, like I said, he's had multiple Heisman finalist quarterbacks. He's won national championships. He's turned around programs. He's won national championships or made it to the national championship at schools that usually aren't the best. And when he gets there, he turns them around. So seeing that and kind of hearing about his past and the plan that he has for me, it just sounds like a good fit for me. And with the quarterback room, it seems like I hear it a lot. It's like from college coaches, it's like you don't want to go out there and have to start your freshman year. Obviously, if you're the best guy in there, you're gonna play, but um, it's a hope that you don't start your freshman year because that creates bad habits, that does all that, and getting to learn from a veteran quarterback that's had more experience, more like a junior or senior or fifth year guy, that's a better situation to be in. And with Alex Orji and Anthony Calandria, those are two top tier quarterbacks. Like they're competing hard right now. The job could go either way. They're both great guys. I've got to see them during practices. They're out there competing every single day. They're each other's biggest supporters on the team is at the same time. So most of the time you see these guys that are competing for the job, they don't really support each other because they're the ones that want to go get the job from the other one, but they want each other to succeed. So it's a really cool thing to see. And both those guys are some top tier NFL kind of guys. So that's awesome to see. And with that staff around them, I really believe they can.
You kind of hit on kind of what you said. Calandra, he potentially was one of those guys like you mentioned. He got on the field early when he was at Virginia, so picking his brain is probably going to be a good thing to
For sure.
learn from stuff from something like that. Have you had a chance to really talk to them and get
Yeah,
to know
so
them?
I've gotten a lot of time to spend with Anthony. You know, I hung out with him on my official visit for multiple days. I hung out with him the week before that I was out there. So those were the two times I really got to hang out with him a lot. And he's what I came home and told my parents was he's a leader, but he's also a competitor. And, you know, one of the first times I got to talk to him was he asked me if I was graduating early, and I was like, yeah. He's like, perfect. So you'll be here when we're in the playoffs. And I was like, you know, that kind of was like, okay, like I see how this guy is and I like it. So, you know, everyone has to have that edge on him and but they also have to be that leader that they're not too big for their team. And I think he's the perfect mix of both.
I spoke to Barkeys when I did his interview. He kind of mentioned the same thing. They have a lot of guys that are from Power Fives that haven't gotten their chance, and they want to show that they can play.
Definitely.
And it's if you have like you mentioned, you have multiple guys with that kind of mindset. You're gonna succeed 9 times out of 10.
Oh,
It'll
definitely.
take something catastrophic to blow that up.
For sure.
I kind of mentioned to him like he made a good point. I brought up to him getting over that hurdle of Boise because what people don't know is not only have they not beaten Boise in the last 2 years, in the 3 times they played, they haven't beaten Boise since 1976. I was like, knowing some of the history with some of these schools, that I was like, how would you take that into, you know, what you guys do? Does that give you any motivation? He's like, nope, we take every game one game at a time. And it's the same mindset that you were just saying about Anthony. It's like these guys, they're not looking too far ahead, they're not looking too far behind, and they want to focus on the moment.
Sure, for sure.
Take me inside the moment when you committed. How did you tell Mullen? What was that call like, or did you talk to Coach Dennis about?
Yeah, so it was actually during the recruiting time when Coach Dennis was able to come out and come to my practices and watch me throw. You know, I think he had a general feeling because I had gone out there. They offered me, I went out there like a week later, and then you know, I went out there another two, three times before I committed in the span of like a month and a half. So I think they had a general feeling, but he came out and he watched me throw, and then after I was like, I just said, let's do this. I want to be a rebel, you know. And he was like, he got all excited, and that was a great feeling.
I'm sure that was a great feeling for you and for UNLV for sure. And do you feel that this was more of a football decision or a future decision, or do you think it was a mix of both?
You know, I think it was a mix of everything. I think there's a lot of resources at UNLV to other than football that will set me up for my future. You know, the football thing is obviously a big part of it. You know, I'm going to college to be a football player and be a student athlete. So I think you have to think of the mixture of both and you know, UNLV has the resources in the both academic world and athletics.
When you say more of I would say the non-football side, obviously there's a lot of things in this town, from connections to if you don't obviously everyone hopes they continue to play football when their football career is done, but even when your football career is over, you can build relationships in this town that are life changing. And there's a lot of connections within the UNLV. There's a lot of connections outside of UNLV. It's very. I always say it's a big town, but a very small town. People know everybody. They take care of everybody. It's very who you know and how you know it, and
Most
especially
definitely.
being an athlete at UNLV, I'm sure that's probably going to set you up with some real good connections and some real good success for the future. Let's talk about football a little bit because people have seen the tape. They know how you can spin it. You've been called one of the best pure passers in California. How do you see your style fitting into Mullen's offense?
I think Coach Mullen he wraps the quarter or the offense around the quarterback, and I think he has to do that, and that kind of shows with their quarterback room right now with Calandria and Orji. Alex Orji, he's a beast of a runner, and he can. There's no doubt he can sling it too, but I mean, he's an unbeatable running back. Like he's a quarterback, but he can pound that ball. And, then
Kind of
if
built
exactly,
like
exactly. And then if you look at Calandra, he's a smaller guy, he's a little undersized for Division I college football, but he can sling the ball. He can do things on his feet, but he's more of a passer. So I think just those two showing Coach Mullen's offense and Coach Dennis's offense, like they're gonna use both of them because they both have different talents that they can really create explosive offense with both of them. So I think having the versatility of that is
kind of if you think about it, when Mullen was the OC under Urban Meyer,
uh,
and they had Chris Leak and Peep when Tebow was a freshman.
yeah.
How they utilized both quarterbacks in different ways and different systems. It's obviously that was SEC and they were able to do that. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with the Mountain West and how they handle this upcoming season with that. What do you think separates you from other quarterbacks in the class? Do you think it's your mindset, mechanics, or just your overall knowledge of football?
Yeah. So I think I see a lot of guys that are there's so many guys in my class that can throw the ball just as good as me or even better. But I think what really separates guys is the mindset part of it and knowing how to operate an offense, knowing how to read defenses, knowing your offensive playbook, all of that, the mindset abilities going into games and being the commander on the field. So I think that is what separates me from other guys in my class.
You just wrapped up a big junior year. The numbers backed it up. You had over 2,500 yards passing and 27 touchdowns last year. What clicked for you this past year playing for Ventura?
So, um, we had some receiver weapons this year, and one of our guys broke the school record for single reception, game reception, and he also broke the single season reception leader. So, we were able to feed the ball to him. We had a young freshman that is a dude. That's going to be a sophomore this year that was starting at wideout for us, and I think the whole offensive side of our team was a big help to me with our O line. We have some big dudes up front that can block, and we need to be able to run the ball a little bit better. We had to throw the ball quite a bit last year, and that kind of led to getting us 8-man drops every game. So it was a little harder to throw the ball, which if we could run the ball a little bit better, we wouldn't get that so much. But this upcoming year, I think we're expecting some defenses to expect us to sling the ball around, a lot. So hopefully we can get up inside and run the ball quite a bit and catch them off guard.
You guys made a good playoff run last year. You lost a close one to Rio Mesa. What did that game teach you about handling pressure and leading a team in those tough game situations?
Yeah, so that was a tough one. The whole week um was a little rough because we had some fires nearby, so we couldn't even practice. We weren't supposed to even practice on, I think it was Tuesday and Wednesday of that week because the air quality was so bad and there was fires so close to us. But last second on Wednesday, we were able to get a bus out to one of the schools about 45 minutes away from us and get a late practice in. So it was a little bit rocky of a week going into that game. And then on top of that, we had to go play at a school that wasn't either of our schools. So it was a neutral field for both of us. And then going into that game, we had quite a few mistakes, turned over the ball, little too much. Turning over the ball is always, if that's a close game, that's going to be the deal breaker for you. So, both of our teams turned the ball over quite a bit, but we always have to make sure to capitalize on it. It was a hard fought battle, which we played them week 2, I want to say, of our season, and it was the same way, close game, came down to the wire, just a few point game. So we had a feel on them, but we just, you know, couldn't control the ball and didn't do what we had to.
Were you affected at all by those fires?
Wasn't
Well, that's a good thing. At least you were able to stay okay during those. I know that was kind of a wild time. You've been spotlighted in top performer lists all over Southern California. How do you stay grounded while this buzz starts building?
Yeah, so I think it's a great thing. It gets my name out there. It's exciting. See how everything I'm putting in is getting noticed. So I think that's a great thing. But at the same time, you got to um, you know, keep yourself grounded, and you can't get ahead of yourself because I'm here to play football, and I'm here to go win championships. So be a leader, be all of that. I think you got to keep the goal in the back of your mind on wanting to win and win championships, and that leader part of it is a huge thing. And if you get all that into your head about being the top guy in Southern California and stuff like that, you're gonna build a little too much of an ego, and I think that'll set you back and be hard on yourself.
I always say, at least from an outsider perspective, I always say that a lot. I think, like how you mentioned, there's a lot of good quarterbacks out there. There's a lot of guys that can throw the ball. But if you're not in the right mental space and have the right mental mindset, you're not going to succeed. And that's potentially what happens with some of these guys that go anywhere they go. They think that they're this, and it's actually, well, you had kind of a reality check,
Most definitely.
or you don't believe in yourself enough. And when you have the right mindset, that's the only way you can be successful. You seem like you do, and you seem like you have a really good head on your shoulders. I do have a few more. Obviously, you committed early. Now you're helping to build something special. Obviously, you've seen the class of 2026 is for UNLV is now ranked number 1 in the Mountain West. Are you still DMing people, trying to get people to join the class? Like, I know that they have kind of guys from all over the country coming in.
Most definitely, yeah. I mean, I get sent guys a lot to help out with recruiting them and helping out the staff with them because, deep down, I'm the one that everyone kind of looks to as being the quarterback, just how it's given, just because of the position I'm in. So I try to fulfill the leadership standpoint of that and, reach out to these guys and tell them straight what the goal for us is, and if you want to be a part of it, then come be a part of it. But if we want to win and we want to have a good team, so it's important for us to do that.
You say so far of the guys that you've met in the 2026 class that you've grown closest to?
I think there's all the commits that I was there with last week at my official visit, or 2 weeks ago now. Um, we all became pretty close and got to take some pictures together, build our relationship, which is really important because we need to be able to build this class around each other. We all need to have the same mindset going into it, which is trying to become that leader in that group. And I think the biggest goal for all of us should be to come in, and we need to build that incoming freshman group around each other. And then on top of that, then after we finish that, we have to go expand into the other players on the whole team, which I think the incoming freshman group, the 26 class, I think we need to build that before we even get there, because then once we get there, we can really tap in and get to know all the other guys and see how they operate and, be a part of them, which is it's a big step because going in from your senior year of high school, you're the oldest people on the campus, oldest people on your team. So it's you kind of jump from being the oldest to the youngest, which is a big difference. So
Yeah, like you said, you got to be tight knit with your guys, and then obviously you've already started to build a relationship with Anthony. So then it's becoming that tight knit relationship within your own position group. and you can to continue to build from there. Because I mean, if you look at guys that are in that QB room now, Orgy's been big games. Michigan has a lot of experience. Calandria was basically a 2-year starter at Virginia. Then you have guys like Cameron Friel. Friel was a guy. I don't know how much you've had a chance to talk to him, but if you have the chance, he's been there through 3 coaching staffs now. This is his 3rd staff. He's the one that you would think he's what do you call it? He's the one that would have a lot of experience to be able to talk to just to see different sides of things and different philosophies. Like he was freshman of the year. He could have easily transferred out, but he didn't.
Yeah.
You know, why did he do that? What does he love about the program? He's still you obviously can have probably seen it. He's the biggest cheerleader of those guys, even if he's probably in the competition too, but maybe not as publicized as everything else.
Yeah.
What kind of identity do you want that your class to build? And what kind of identity do you want the offense to have?
Yeah, so I think my class, I want these guys to come in and compete for that spot right when they get there. And another thing I keep touching on is leadership. I think leadership is a huge thing because, you know, especially as a quarterback, like I give an example, like if I'm not respected by the receivers enough to tell them they messed up on something and then you know, they go and listen to me or not. Like that's a big thing that if you don't have the respect or you're not leading those other groups of guys, you know, they're not going to listen to you as much and they're not going to turn to you as much when you kind of need them or they need you. So I think that's a big thing for us to go in and go try to get.
So let's loosen up a little bit, not talk so much about football. Obviously, I know that we talked about a little bit that you played baseball. How did baseball sharpen your game as a quarterback? Like I know they're different games,
Yeah.
but how is that able to help you out? And is that still something that you're gonna uh take advantage of when you go to UNLV? Maybe not play, but like still go to games.
Yeah, definitely. So I've always played baseball going into high school. My freshman year, I took the year off, and then sophomore year, I had a pretty good relationship with the baseball coach. So he kind of talked me into it, and then I was like, let's do it. You know, threw me up on varsity right away. Started pitching and then hit a few times and you know it was a good fun year being around those guys because you know I knew most of them just from being around them and I knew one of my few closest friends were like the star players on the team, so being close with them kind of brought me into all the other guys just before it even happened. And you know, baseball, it's a tough thing coming from being a quarterback because trying to pitch while throwing a football at the same time, it was a little tough, but we just spent a lot of time on it and got it down and you know, the coaches helped me a lot.
What would you say the biggest difference is between throwing a baseball and throwing a football?
Ooh,
Obviously grips, but
yep.
what would you
Yeah. So I think it comes out of the hand a lot different. You know, a football, you always try to throw that via your hand, and baseball, you want to be more on top of it. It's a lot different, but baseball, it's a lot longer of an arm, like of your throwing motion, which it you know it changes quite a bit. So it took a while to get used to, but yeah.
what would you say uh is something that you're good at off the field that people don't know about?
Yeah, so um, I think I take pretty big pride in academics. I'm graduating early this year, getting to UNLV early in January. So I've always had the goal in mind to go to a good school, get a good education. And when the football opportunity arose, that was even more exciting, you know, to get on a big stage, big school, big campus, part of a big football team, which it was just really exciting. And yeah, I think academics are a big thing for me.
If you have no film, what's your go-to move to help you unwind and take a break from football?
Yeah, so I think hanging out with my friends a lot is a big thing for me. Hanging out with my friends and family kind of just um, you know, takes a lot of stress off of just my whole life. Going out and having fun, you know, going to the beach, going to some like swim holes around me. So there's a lot of different things I like to do, but just kind of hanging out with my friends, and even if it's, going to one of my friends' houses and just talking to them, laying in like, chilling around the house. So I think that's a big thing for me that just takes my mind off a lot of things.
Would you say you're a gamer at all?
I used to be when like COVID happened, used to play a lot of video games, but I've gotten away from it now. So
How do you feel? Because I was gonna ask, how do you feel about, the new NCAA game coming out? Obviously, and you potentially being in that.
yeah.
And then how do you feel about them saying that they're gonna bring back the college basketball game too?
Yeah, so I actually bought the last NCAA game, but I get to play that a little bit. But just I think it's a great opportunity for guys to get more exposure, and you know, it'd be pretty sweet to play as yourself in a video game. I think that'd be a really cool feeling. Yeah, it's an exciting thing for the guys.
Your friends and family went as soon as you go to UNLV and they see your name in that game, they're gonna play as you.
Oh
If
yeah.
if they play, that's gonna happen.
Uh,
Speaking of the beach, Ventura is a beach town. Vegas, obviously, not so much. What's your biggest take on moving from the 805 to the 702?
Yeah, so I think a big difference is obviously Ventura's a little beach town. It's a little community that is kind of in between LA and Santa Barbara, which a lot of people pass through to get to one another. And not a lot of people kind of really see it, and it's an awesome little spot. About 5 minutes away from the beach, and going to Vegas, going to UNLV, it's about a 5 hour drive. Different heat, a lot hotter, but it's more like living in LA compared to where I am at right now. So it's definitely a lot more crazy, and got to keep my head straight and stay in the right places, and I'll be good.
Let's finish off with these. Let's talk about Allegiant, right? What do you picture yourself when you see yourself running out of the tunnel? Like, what's going to be going through your mind for the very first time? What kind of standard do you want to set at UNLV, not just as a quarterback, but as a teammate and a leader? Speaking of the teammate and or teammates and camaraderie, did you happen to see any of the videos last year of like what they would do going into the fourth quarter at home games, like how they would be jumping on the sideline? Let me see if I'll pull it up for you real quick.
Yep.
See if I can find it. It's I gotta find it. They would do it before they would play uh It's a Party by Waka Flocka, and they would just all be jumping up and down on the sideline, and like the whole like if you seen like if you like, I don't know how much baseball. Obviously, you played it. But I don't know how much baseball you still watch. Like, you ever seen like the home run trots where they do like the flashlight?
Uh,
They would be doing that inside of Allegiant to "It's a Party" by Waka Flocka, and they'd all be jumping up and down. Like, they'd all congregate into like a big like huddle mosh pit, and they'd all be jumping up and down on the sideline.
That's
So
awesome.
I get my last question for you is when you leave UNLV, UNLV will be what? Derek, your UNLV's future quarterback one. Appreciate you jumping on. And the 2026 class is in really good hands with you. Yeah, I'll catch you in Vegas soon.